Shreveport Mayor Adrian Perkins also proclaimed today to be Congressman John Lewis Day in the city. Tonight in Fox Money, more than 1.4 million Americans filed for first-time unemployment claims last week. The Labor Department says around 17 million Americans have filed for benefits. This comes as the $600 per week from the CARES Act will expire tomorrow. Congress is deadlocked on whether to extend the benefit, with some arguing the size of the payment is killing the incentive to work. In response to protesters gathered at Louisiana congressional offices, they're asking lawmakers to save the $600. In solidarity with Step Up Louisiana, the We the People organization held a protest outside Senator Bill Cassidy's office on Uri Drive. The organizer says the money is needed now more than ever.
We're tired, we're fed up, and we're not going to stop until our voices are heard, but also until you do what needs to be done. If you want us to vote for you, then you better put your money where your mouth is. Literally, put your pen to the paper and sign in favor of this $600 unemployment disbursement.
The Louisiana Workforce Commission says the maximum weekly unemployment benefit in Louisiana is $247 a week. A federal employees union is asking the community to help them bring in more work to the Red River Army Depot. Earlier this month, the Army requested $90 million in defense funding to pay for a program aimed at improving military vehicles. But the House of Representatives only approved $30 million. The National Federation of Federal Employees says the Red River Army Depot is the only base qualified to build those vehicles. So they say funding the program would bring thousands of jobs to the base and save the lives of countless soldiers.
The Humvee is used in close proximity combat. And when you have troops out going door to door on a Humvee, you'll have a gunner with a 50 cal sitting on top of it, watching out for those troops to provide cover for them. The bottom line is, when this is funded and the work is done here at Red River, it will save soldiers' lives.
And you can find the contact information for local senators on our website, arklatex-homepage.com. When we return, Chief Meteorologist Todd Warren has your full forecast ahead. And in tonight's Fox Best video, a Texas police officer gets a surprise, which nearly left them speechless, and his fellow officers were in on it. For tonight's Fox Best video, former Grand Prairie police officer and Air Force member Viviana Molina is home early from Iraq. She surprised her husband Edgar, who is a Grand Prairie police officer himself, this week at a public safety meeting. They've been apart for 6 months, with Officer Molina home with their 3 children. During their 15-year marriage, both have served in the armed forces and have been deployed. So he found it odd when his wife didn't seem to have her itinerary in order.
The past few days, I've been trying to get a hold of her and say, hey, what's your status? What's going on? I get so frustrated and say, oh man, she's not like her to do that.
Both say the unanswered calls and 3-day trek home was all worth it in the end.
Now, your Weather Authority forecast with meteorologist Todd Warren.
Well, today we did see the hot and mainly dry conditions across the Arklatex. Again, that will change tomorrow, as we'll discuss here in a second. Meantime, local view. This one captured near Nashville, Arkansas by David McIntosh. Thanks, David, for sharing that weather shot. And if you have a weather picture you'd like to share, post it on my Facebook page or website. Just go to the weather page of arklatexhomepage.com. And you can also do it within the Arklatex homepage or Arklatex Weather Authority app. And speaking of the app, tomorrow, of course, cold front will produce some thunderstorms. Some of them could be strong. You'll get exclusive alerts within the app, in addition to the normal weather service alerts, including lightning as well as windstorms are rotating. So again, some exclusive alerts within the Arklatex Weather Authority app. Speaking of conditions right now, we're looking at quiet conditions here in the Arklatex. As we look at the weather map, we are going to be watching that cold front, which is going to be working its way southward towards the Arklatex here during the course of the next 24 hours. It will serve as the trigger for thunderstorms across the Arklatex during the the afternoon especially across the southern half of the area. So let's give you a look at that as we look at futurecasts. You can see tonight we will see some thunderstorms that are now off to our north and west in southern Oklahoma. A weekend as they move into especially the northern sections of the area late tonight, and then tomorrow we'll see that activity come to an end. And notice southeast half the area, the thunderstorms erupting here, basically in East Texas, northwest Louisiana. Notice the intensity of the thunderstorms as well, as some of these could become severe with damaging wind. The biggest concern, this activity will slide its way out of the region. We'll see the clouds decrease tomorrow night, and then as we go through Saturday, we will see quite a bit in terms of sunshine as some drier air moves in. Could see some clouds build in with some cooler air aloft, but nonetheless, with drier air in place, not looking at much as far as rainfall for tomorrow. Let's give you a look at, first of all, the outlook for severe weather from the Storm Prediction Center. You can see the green here, SPC indicating we have a marginal risk for the stray severe thunderstorm for tomorrow. As I mentioned, wind will be the biggest concern. And as far as rainfall, we could see a decent amount of rain in spots. Latest outlook from Futurecast indicating that, again, where the storms could be strongest, a good inch or two possible, especially across northwest Louisiana and deep East Texas. But keep in mind, key word here is potential. This could happen pretty much anywhere across the Ark-La-Tex, and anywhere in the Ark-La-Tex. I would anticipate receiving a good at least half an inch to an inch across the area. So your forecast looks like this as we go through the nighttime hours tonight. We will see a possibility for some weakening showers and thunderstorms to move into the northern sections of the area later on tonight. Expect a low temperature at 77. Tomorrow as the cold front moves in, thunderstorms become likely. Again, they likely will be strongest over the southeast half of the area. We'll see a high tomorrow slightly below normal at 91 degrees, and the below normal temperatures will really settle in as we go into next week with drier air moving in as well. Details on that in your 7-day forecast coming up next. And a look at your 7-day forecast shows a rather pleasant start by early August standards, as we will see the thunderstorms tomorrow to close out July, and then notice how we start August. Rather cool, especially at night. Normally we're in the low to middle 70s. We'll see lows in the mid 60s across parts of the Ark-La-Tex early next week. Daytime highs also staying below normal in the 80s and lower 90s. Markel?
Thanks, Todd. A unity rally sparked an idea to create substantial changes to race relations in the city of Shreveport. A local pastor shares his vision in tonight's Beyond the Protest.
People have taken to the streets and they have marched, they have protested.
Demonstrations across the world, country and Shreveport in reaction to the death of George Floyd.
Obviously, we're dealing with COVID-19, but also we have dealt with the pandemic of injustice, racism.
Pastor Charles Johnson led a unity march in June from Shreveport's historic Galilee Baptist Church to Little Union Baptist Church. It included a diverse group of faith leaders, and out of this peaceful protest, he developed Community 365.
God placed it upon my heart to respond with a message of unity and a message of love, which is the Christian response.
Johnson's goal is to bring people of all races together through in-depth discussions.
We've been socially distant for years. And what I mean by that is that as a young African-American preacher, I can tell you that they always told me, which is a true statement, I believe, the most segregated day of the week is on a Sunday.
He's starting a 10-church tour to discuss race relations.
Going beyond a protest, going beyond just showing that we're unified, is the fact that we march, we protest, we speak out, but we never come together.
The goal is for faith leaders in their congregations to join the movement by conducting training for organizers. The organizers will then lead small group discussions throughout the city.
When are we going to say that the man on one street and the man on the other street need to know each other and meet each other and talk to each other to build relationships? I believe the time is now.
To learn more about Community 365 and how you can get involved, visit our website. Still to come, see how a local congressman's COVID-19 diagnosis has sparked change